What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of On the Block, NFL edition. We're going to do our picks here. So we're going to start off with the London game. Actually, you know what? Let's recap a little bit, just because the Titans have been absolutely terrible. When they win, I pick them to lose. When they lose, they win. Obviously, coming off a loss, New England on Thursday took care of the Giants, covered the spread there. Daniel Jones,
6-0, baby.
Daniel Jones looked
6-0.
human, but they haven't played one playoff team yet.
Well, they only really had Golden Tate on offense. Like, again, that is the situation there with the Patriots, and they're not going to play one for quite a while because Monday they got the Jets, following Monday, obviously, and then you don't know what you're going to get with Baker and the Browns. So, legitimately, like and then they have a bye in there as well. Legitimately, they haven't faced any stiff competition. It gets a lot harder in the second half of the year. So, yeah, you don't know what the Patriots are. The offense has definitely struggled. Gordon got injured. Not sure how big that injury is going to be. But, like, Brady's looked kind of human. There was a little wind. He didn't have the greatest game, I'll be honest with you. I mean, obviously, I'm a big Tom Brady fan. But the defense has been stellar. But they also haven't faced a top-end team. The only top-end, like, the Bills game, they played a top-end defense. But the Bills' offense is horrible. So they haven't faced a top-end offense. And maybe that's masking a lot of what they can do. So they'll have some tests. I think they got... Baker's offense, when he's on, is a good offense, a good running back, a couple of good wide receivers. But we'll see what they got KC at Foxborough. I actually read a stat that they won 16 games in a row at home, which is pretty crazy.
They've always been dominant at home, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. They're 6-0, but they've had a really soft 6-0s, to be honest.
Oh, you gotta go off the top of my head. Pittsburgh,
the Jets, Miami, Washington, the Giants, and Buffalo, which was a tough
Buffalo's
game.
A decent team.
But then again, they knocked Josh Allen out with that head hit, and then Matt Barkley wasn't going to win any games. So
that's for damn sure. All right, shout out to USC. Let's get it. We already made our picks. We got together, so it won't be as long as we typically are. We'll go through the picks though. And Carolina at Tampa, game 1. Ever since I've been knocked out of my Survivor with Carolina, this is the rematch. So Cam Newton let me down. And to this day, forever, I'm not going to be a fan of Cam Newton. But you know what? Ever since he's gone down, McCaffrey looks like an MVP. Their defense has been a lot better. And Tampa, too, hasn't been too bad either. They lost to they beat the Rams.
Yeah, that was a really surprising because they threw, I think, a 50 piece on the Rams.
Yeah, that was a high-scoring game.
It was a really high-scoring game. They lost last week. But one of the crazy things now, Mike Evans went off against the Rams for 3 touchdowns, and
last week he was invisible,
which was a real fantasy killer on that end of things. But anyways, they're really hit and miss. The defense is pretty decent, but I've liked what I've seen from Carolina in terms of I think McCaffrey is right now the MVP of the season right now and of the league. Was what I was trying to say. And the quarterback situation, the QB situation has been a thing where he's just on in terms of doesn't make a ton of mistakes. Lets McCaffrey do his thing and
game manager.
And he's game managing, and realistically the defense hasn't been terrible. I'm taking them to win that game. It's a 2-point spread. They've been hot. Tampa's been you're never gonna know what you're gonna get in those London games, but a 2-point spread. I'm gonna take the better team and then take Carolina by 2 points.
I'm gonna go with Tampa to sweep this series. I'm surprised.
Well, again,
the 2-point spread, right?
Yeah, but a lot has to do with because Carolina's been playing so well. And that's why Tampa's been on and off, and very hard to gauge what they're gonna be.
Okay, so you got Carolina, got Tampa. We're gonna go to the toilet bowl game, guys, and this is the Miami Dolphins at home. They wish they could bring Dan Marino to retirement for this one. Coming off a bye. Going against Washington, who's looked like they might challenge Miami for the worst record in football. We have Miami at 3.5. That's the line we have it at here. You like the Dolphins?
Sorry, is it Miami or Washington at 3.5?
It's Washington at 3.5 at Miami.
So again, this to me is going to be one of those games where both these teams have. I think Washington's a little bit better than Miami because I think Miami's legitimately tanking the entire year.
Miami has a better defense, I feel though.
They do, but again. But offensively, I would give Washington the edge. They weren't horrible. Colt McCoy, I believe, is going to start again. They weren't horrible against the Patriots. I watched that. They were in it for them.
They only scored a pick 6, right? Or did they get a field
goal?
No,
they got. I think they got a wide receiving touchdown early in the game. They weren't terrible, but But I don't like the 3.5 because I think doing that against two teams that are pretty terrible. I'm gonna take Miami to cover that, simply on the fact that this could be legitimately for why one of these teams has a legit chance
First
of
overall.
losing every single game,
Mm-hmm.
and it could very well be Miami. In the end, this might be one of those games that could like screw somebody over from getting the first overall, which most people think will be Tua, the quarterback from Alabama. But I'm gonna take Miami to cover. I think that Washington will win the game, but it'll be a close one. So I think Washington will win, but Miami covers at 3.5.
I got Miami on the 3.5. Don't want to spend too much time on that game.
But who wins, the Washington or Miami?
Washington wins too.
Okay,
yeah.
so fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, I took Washington minus 3.5, so they have to win.
Yes, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Philly traveling to Minnesota. Minnesota screwed me over. I just bought Equal coffee off that bet that we had from a few weeks ago with the Bears where they laid an egg.
The Bears.
I really like what Philly's been doing. They had that big win against Rodgers a few Thursdays ago.
Mm-hmm. Well, a bit of a lucky win. Well, like as Rodgers messed up early at the end, but a win.
And Minnesota's really let me down. I would not be surprised if Minnesota, the defense just comes in Philly, just scores 10 points or something and loses the game. But I'm going to go with Philly on the +3 here. I might regret it.
I think the Minnesota defense is pretty stout. I think that Kirk Cousins is working out his issues with Thielen and Diggs. Diggs is a guy that looks like he wants out. He wants to be traded from he's winking at reporters, and I don't know what the situation is getting. It's getting into a Randy Moss like situation out there. I don't think he's half the play that Moss was, but anyways, I'm gonna take my Minnesota to cover the 3 points, on the fact that I think Philly, they won last week against a cupcake Jets team. Nothing to really be seen there, and I really think that Green Bay should have won that game. So I think the Philly defense, especially in the secondary, is a bit suspect. And I will take Minnesota to cover that by again. I like that spread as a field goal. I think that Minnesota gets that done.
By 3?
Yeah.
Houston and Kansas City. Mahomes and the guys could not believe that they lost last week. A Sunday nighter losing to the Colts. Their offense looked like they couldn't get anything going. Really surprised. Like their defense, like I said at the beginning of the season, I really thought their defense, they addressed some needs in the draft and they got a lot better because that was really the only place they could have improved. Their offense last year scored 40 points a game, it seemed like. But Houston struggled as well. Like whether they're at home, they're obviously a better team at home, but they don't really travel well either. Kansas City hasn't covered in a while. I think that Mahomes is going to have to get these guys on track. I'm going with Kansas City and I'm taking the 5.5 points.
So the issue that I'm having with the Chiefs is that Tyreek Hill coming back would be a big situation. I don't know if he's going to be on limited snaps and whatever. I think he's a big weapon there for Mahomes. They should have lost to Detroit. Detroit really blew that game where Detroit had them on the ropes on the 1 yard line in that turn, and then even with the 2 minute thing, they should have won that game. So realistically, the Chiefs should be 3-2 at best. Houston last week against Atlanta was really good. I'm not hugely sold on that Houston defense, especially again in the secondary. Mahomes is a little bit banged up on his foot. It's one of those situations where it's a lot of points laying off one team that's coming in a little bit hot and the other team's coming in a little bit. Arrowhead's a tough place to play. I'm going to say that I'm going to take the Chiefs to cover, but it's a game that I really stayed away from because I think it'll be a situation where it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's 54 or something like that. It's already on the over-under or higher, I think. I think it'll be a game of the offenses, and I think that Watson, their biggest problem on offense is that the O-line is terrible, and Watson's running around like crazy. The running game is not existing because the O-line is terrible, and if the O-line can at least be reasonable, I think they'd be in a much better spot. But I will take KC because it's at Arrowhead, and I think it'll be a really high-end scoring game. And again, a touchdown win for the Chiefs sounds like the most sense there. But it was a game that I didn't really want to bet or touch.
So we're both at Kansas City and the 5.5. New Orleans, they haven't missed a beat without Drew Brees. They've won every game since. We have it here at 2.5 against Jacksonville, but you did let us know the spread is now 3 for Jacksonville.
It's 3 for Jacksonville.
So let's go off the 3 for Jacksonville.
Well, I think that has to do with the Minshew magic. Uncle Rico, 8 TDs and 1 pick. He's been a revelation, which is going to be something to behold because I thought Nick Foles.
Shark's been incredible.
What was that?
Shark, their wide receiver.
Yes, I picked him up.
He's been phenomenal.
Which is interesting to me. With those Jacksonville.
He's a second round pick. He's
he's a guy that I think he went off for 200
or something.
200 last week with a couple TDs. So it was something along those lines. He's been really, really good. I mean, they're going to be in a bit of a spot because, like, I think
They
Nick
paid
Foles,
Foles a lot of money.
Nick Foles, yeah, a lot of money. He's going to be coming back at some point during the year. I thought he was done for the entire year, but it looks like maybe a week 10, week 11 type thing. But I mean, I don't know how you bench like Gardner
No, you
Minshew.
can't. Yeah.
So I don't know what they do with that situation if Foles gets relegated to backup because if Minshew keeps up what he's doing, like I don't know. I mean, they did pay Foles all that money, but
Cut him after year one.
you know what? Like, and you know what? Away from Philly, that seems to be a big thing for Foles. And I'm not saying it's his fault, obviously, because man
He got hurt in game
broke
one.
his clavicle. I mean, you can't say it was his fault, but I mean, I think a lot of people are believers in Gardner Minshew. And the funny thing is, like, it's a reverse thing with Foles because that was Foles' things where Carson Wentz went down, and then Foles got all this magical run, and now it looks like Gardner's on something. They did lose last week, but not on him really. The Jalen Ramsey situation. I mean, I don't think he's gonna play.
Practicing this week. I think he's forcing himself out.
Well, supposedly he's got a back injury. He's not gonna play.
I think he's just milking it, right?
Which is like again, that's a tough situation because he's one of if the best player maybe on the team, which you
and one of the best players in the league.
Yeah. So I'm going to say that I'm going to take the Saints because we have it as a 2-point. I do like Gardner in the game, but I think that Teddy's just been doing a great game. The Saints defense has been really good.
Yeah, especially at home, right? Like that's why I think it's going to be different driving outside.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to steal the spotlight and make my pick. This is one of my locks of the week, actually. Cameron, get ready. I'm taking the Jags. +2, -3, whatever you want. Give me whatever. I want Jacksonville.
You're getting the 5 points.
Give me whatever. I'm gonna and as a rival of the Titans, shouldn't be doing this, but I really like Jacksonville this week, and I know that Teddy's the highest paid back in the league. He's been doing a great job. Shout out to him, especially after all those injuries. But I just think that Magic, at least for this week, is gonna take a back seat. They're not in the.
Also, you're on the Uncle Rico train now.
No, I'm not on Uncle Rico at all.
I'm
on Miles Jack and the defense and everything, right? And Fournette's been really good too.
Okay, so it's not Rico that's getting.
Minshew's not bad. I've told a few friends he's pretty solid, but it's not like what's the guy played 5 games so far? I'm not ready to give him the torch.
What was that? Was it the game against the Titans that he broke out of all those tackles and he scored and hit that touchdown? That was really a fun.
Fournette ran like an 80-yard touchdown.
No. It was that one game where it looked like Rico was dead to dead right, and he was able to like scurry ahead and did like a 360 a couple times. It was a hell of a game.
Let's try and forget about that.
Yeah, I think it was the Titans game where he got up.
It was Titans game where they smashed Tennessee on that Thursday nighter. But I don't remember that exact play.
Yeah, no, I think that was on the weekend. Might have been a different game, but yeah, okay. So not on Uncle Rico's train, but on the rest, okay.
Leading to my second lock of the week, another home team here. The locks haven't been so kind. My overall record's been pretty good. I'm a huge Russell Wilson fan.
Okay.
I like the Seahawks. I don't know why, but I'm going against all odds here. I'm taking the Browns and the artist formerly known as Baker Mayfield. I don't think he's really going to have that good of a game, but Seattle's another team that doesn't really, like New Orleans, another team that doesn't travel typically well, those dome teams, and Seattle obviously with the 12th man. Cleveland's due for a win, and that line's kind of fishy to me. 2.5, do you not agree? Like, isn't that a little bit off?
I mean, the point of, again, I think the betting public is going on this whole situation where the Browns have usually come out strong after a bad game, and like Baker's Monday night performance was as bad as you can really get. I mean, I think he threw for about.
He's had like two games where
his QB rating was, I think, a point better than a guy that would have been on the couch watching the game, which is pretty bad. Yeah, again, and I think that's the problem. I think he has these games, and I think the teams have gotten a scouting report on him in terms of how to handle him. Now, I thought they were dead against the Ravens, and then they go out there and absolutely smash the Ravens. I think in Baltimore. So it's a team that is just all over the place in terms of how they play. Do I expect Baker to have a much better game? Yes, because God knows you can't have much of a worse game. But I think the Seattle team has the composure. The defense is pretty stout. They've been doing pretty well on offense. It's just a much better team. So even though, again, about 2.5 lines, a field goal line.
It makes too much sense.
It does make too much sense. But like it was the same thing. I think we had that same situation where, where they had Dallas over the Saints based off Breeze not being there.
And it was a 2-point spread that one.
It was a 2-point spread, and then again, Teddy got it done, and then Dallas.
It was a field goal game that one too, right? I think New Orleans scored 1 touchdown, and then there was like 5 or 6 field goals between the two teams.
Yeah, and then
it was like a 12-7 or 12-9 game.
Yeah, and then the Cowboys were favored there, and I think this is one of those situations where I just think that Seattle's the much better overall
team.
They're
definitely the better team,
and they need to keep a pace with all the other teams, with the Niners and the Rams. So again, it's a game that they probably should win, and I think that they'll give. I think the Seattle defense likes to blitz a lot. Baker, if he doesn't get the ball out quick, is known to be a bit of a situation.
Seattle's another team.
I can't really trust Cleveland at all most of the season because I don't know who they are. Like, is it the Titans team or Delaney Walker telling them they're exactly who we thought they were? Or is it the one that just smashed the
Baltimore,
Ravens?
yeah.
Is it the one that on a Monday night threw up a huge goose
It's
egg?
funny you say that because Cleveland and Tennessee have been two teams where one week they look like they're a bottom team in the league, and the next week they look pretty decent, right? But okay, so you got Seattle, I got Cleveland, and like I don't know if the lines changed. We don't have any updated numbers here. We have it at 2.5. For all I know, the line's 3 or 1 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But if the line is 2.5, which we're going off here, wouldn't be surprised if Seattle wins by 1 and doesn't cover the spread. One of those kind of games, right? Which happened to me on the Thursday night with the Rams.
Yeah,
I took Seattle. It was a 2-point spread, and they won by 1. Right?
Which they should have lost because the kicker missed the field goal, right? So
we're gonna try and get.
beats.
We have just 5 more games left. Let's just go through them quick. Atlanta, Arizona, 2 atrocious teams. I got Atlanta.
I mean, I'm taking Atlanta in that one because they were just beaten so badly last week and then that game. And I think Matt Ryan and Julio Jones and I mean Kyler Murray's been pretty good. Like
okay, they won last week against Cincinnati.
Yeah, so I mean that got them out of that whole knock spot. But I think Atlanta's a better team overall. I'm taking them to cover that.
Both of us have Atlanta by 3. Dallas 8.5 going to the Jets.
How about them, Cowboys?
How about that?
I just love doing that at the end of the day. The Cowboys, man, I can go off on this one for about 20 minutes. It's one of those teams that realistically in the U.S. media, I think that the teams that get the most coverage are legitimately
Patriots.
if Tom Brady sneezes or if Tom Brady has a bad game, the cliff is coming, and then just the hype that the Dallas Cowboys get. They have beaten nobody. They literally faced Miami, Washington, and the Giants 3-0 teams that they all should have beaten anyway. Cupcake teams. They lose to Green Bay. They lose to the Saints, who were without Drew Brees. And now they get another cupcake. Sam Darnold's back from mono.
He's playing this week?
I believe he is playing. He's back from mono.
And not just because Jets fans are on suicide watch. It's the only reason why. It's probably the other too. Because they were saying he might be out 8 weeks. Now he's coming back after 3
Yeah, I think I think he's cleared to play. I think he's going to be in there. That does not change much for me.
Probably lost 20 pounds having mono too. But.
I'm going to take the Cowboys in a round there because again they tend to beat up on these cupcake teams, and then when they face real opposition, they are who we thought we were. And again, I mean, just look at what Aaron Jones did to them. It wasn't even Aaron Rodgers didn't have that great a game. I think Jones ran for almost, I think it was 150 yards or something like that, and with three TDs, he just destroyed them. And he does that a lot because again he's from Texas or whatever, and he just, being a guy that I have Jones in fantasy and a lot of my teams, he's one of the most suspect guys. Some days I think he hit me up with 45 points. Yahoo leagues, by the way. And then other days 5 points does nothing. So I don't know. He's not dependable, but again, they have a lot more problems with that Dallas team that they're letting on. When they stop Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott isn't that guy.
Yeah.
So anyway, it will be the Cowboys in a round. They'll win by 10 at least.
Not that you said Darnold's back. I'm thinking maybe Jets, but I'll go with Cowboys. It's tough.
How about them Cowboys?
Let's really go through. Just make a pick. Maybe say Cincinnati at Baltimore. Baltimore 12.5.
Oof. I mean, Baltimore's fallen down quite a bit. It's the other game that I really wasn't, again, double digits. Since he's again went to Seattle, lost by a point.
They haven't showed anything.
They haven't showed anything since. I mean, logically, you think Baltimore at home, but then again, what happened with Cleveland. Lamar Jackson's been a little bit, not as great lately. I mean, I'm going to take Baltimore to cover that because Cincinnati's so bad, but I mean, it wouldn't be surprised if Cincy covered that game.
I got Baltimore at 12.5. San Fran still undefeated, going to the Rams. Rams minus 3.5.
See, now that will be my lock of the week.
Who do we got?
Because I've really, especially what I saw on Monday, really love, not even Jimmy, I think their run game and their defense has been so good. I think they're on some kind of huge thing where they've ran for over 200 yards on each one of the games, and they have a couple of different running backs in Breda and I think Coleman. I think there's another one in there, but I'm just forgetting the name. It is Mike Shanahan. Is it Mike Shanahan? No, it's Kyle Shanahan who was the coach.
Oh, Shanahan.
Yeah, he's doing a great job with the offensive stuff, and the defense has been great. 3.5, I like that half point. I mean, undefeated San Francisco. It's a division game. The Rams have been giving up a lot of points.
They're well rested. They have a Thursday game, right? So they're going to be well rested.
They are. They should have won the Seattle game. I like that the game will be a close one. The 49ers are undefeated. I'll take the 3.5 points because I think that'll be a field goal game either way. And I can see San Fran even winning the game because the Rams, remember, they gave up 50 to Tampa Bay. And to me,
Which is hard to do.
Which is hard to do. And I think that the 49ers have a better team, and they play like they're. I'm not surprised that they're undefeated at this point, but they're just to me they're as good as a team.
They're a good team, yeah. You see, and that's the only thing now. Like I said, I wonder if this was. I had San Fran plus a 3.5 because I feel like any idiot takes an undefeated team that's getting 3.5 points. But now that I just realized myself, San Fran's coming off a short week. They played on Monday night.
Yes.
Right. And
but they realistically didn't travel anywhere because they're in LA anyway.
Still.
So
not including travel, just a short week. They have 3 less days than the other team did because the Rams played on a Thursday nighter against Seattle.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
that's a big. I'm not worried about the travel, like you said. Even if it was a 1 or 2 hour flight.
I don't even know.
I'm going to take it. I might have to rip up my tickets because it's San Fran a lot. But give me the Rams in this one on the 3.5 because I just think that Vegas is playing a little mind game with us. And I think that they're begging people to take San Fran when they know something that we don't. Give me the Rams in my third game of the week, which I just donated money before we got here. All right. We got 3 games left. My beloved Titans traveling to Denver at Mile High. I'm going to go against my guys again. Oh, guys, you're killing me. I love A.J. Brown. I feel like he's a real weapon. Got him from Ole Miss in the second round behind DK Metcalf, who went to Seattle. Remember that freak wide receiver? Corey Davis still drops way too many balls for being a top 3 pick in the draft or whatever he is. Fast as hell, but can't. I need to get some glue on his hands. Marcus Mariota. If I was a passionate fan, I love my team. I've loved them since forever. But I'm not one of those guys that's going to rip out their hair when the team loses, whatever. I've been through too much with them. I'm going to cut to the chase after that little rant. Give me Joe Flacco. I can't believe I'm saying this. Give me Joe Flacco minus 2.5 in Denver. Another team that's usually really good at home. Tennessee's not good at home or away, but somehow they have a better record on the road. They're 2-1. Give me Denver on the 2.5 because until Tennessee shows me something, I still really like their defense. I think they have a top 5, top 10 defense easy, but they have the talent maybe to be a little bit higher than that. Denver's defense is still good. They lost Chubb, I know that. But I don't know what else to say. Give me Denver on the 2.5, baby.
See, now I'm gonna go. Like, I think I want 1-0 after like going with the Titan
touching the dog,
touching the pork with the Titan Porgo. I'm gonna go actually with your team because it's one of those spots, and I think it was one of those. Yeah, the Broncos beat the Chargers last week. One of those division games where they always get up for it. Flacco had a really good game, surprisingly. They're due for a bit of a letdown spot, and I think that's one of those situations where the Titans come in there.
Both teams have had nothing but letdown seasons, I feel, though.
But again, for example, I don't think you would have I don't think much is expected out of Denver. I really don't.
No.
And the thing with that is again, the Titans come into those situations where, again, for example, the Cleveland game the first week, where everyone was just, Cleveland's gonna be this, Cleveland's gonna do that, and the Titans just smacked them in the face. I think in all the facets of the game, I would take the Titans to give Joe Flacco a lot of problems. I'm not expecting Flacco to have the game that he had last week. I think that this is going to be one of those games where I think Derrick Henry will be a bit of a factor for sure. And I mean, I do think that the Titans are just a better team than the Broncos in the Mile High.
They definitely have more talent.
So I'm going to take that. I'm going to get a more talented team and say that the Titans come out of there with a win because they have been reasonably decent on the road. Besides the Jacksonville game on Thursday, which is a bit of a disaster.
And those Thursday night games are.
And then those are all over the place. They're short weeks and so forth. So I'm going to think they take the Titans and your boy Marcus not to screw things up too bad. And
he's not my guy. He's not my guy.
He's your quarterback.
Quarterback.
It's quarterback, man.
Pittsburgh started their third string quarterback.
Rudolph is
Rudolph's out with the concussion.
I saw him do practice. I thought maybe that was a scary ass hit last week.
I didn't see that hit. But going with the Chargers, they're 7-point favorites now. They were 6 or 7-point favorites last week against Denver. Made an absolute A. Denver came in the division game and really smacked them around. I'm going to go with the Chargers here. I don't know how anybody really wants to take Pittsburgh, especially, going across the country, third string quarterback. Seems too easy, but I'm going to go with it because Pittsburgh, last time they went, now that I think about it, they went to California against the 49ers and had a backdoor cover against them in a game that they should have got killed in.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So don't screw me over, Steelers and Steelers fans, because I can't stand the fans or the team. Somehow I don't mind Mike Tomlin. I don't know why. I don't. He's not the best coach in the league, but I don't mind him.
He's been there for a while, and he's a likable guy in terms of how he comes off. Yeah.
Give me the 7 points in Chargers. You taking the Chargers as well?
I mean, the Chargers have been a weird team because I think a lot of people had if you were talking before the season, I think it was going KC, the Patriots, or the Chargers in the AFC.
Yeah, because they had a great season last year.
And they've been really topsy turvy, where you just don't, on a week to week, you don't know what to expect. I mean, in this facet, everything's going in their favor. The third string quarterback,
Joey Bosa has been incredible.
Joey Bosa has been well. So is Nick Bosa, by the way. You expect him to do some things on Goff. That's another thing I don't really like in that other game. I think Goff, when it comes to those defenses, he gets a little jittery in there. He's very hard to trust.
Mm-hmm.
He saw a lot of that in the Super Bowl too.
Sorry, Nick, I'm getting them mixed up now. But yeah, they've both been obviously incredible.
I mean, that was great with the whole flag thing against the